Hey there, welcome to my channel. There's something that might seem odd about the surface of the moon. When you look at pictures of it, you may notice that the footprints left behind by astronauts decades ago are still there. And not just those footprints either. Other marks left on the lunar surface from impacts or even tire tracks appear to last forever. So why don't these slowly fade away like they do here on Earth? It turns out there are several reasons that footprints could remain on the moon for millions of years. One big reason footprints don't disappear on the moon is that there's no atmosphere. No air means no wind. And without wind, there's nothing to blow footprints away. Plus, there's no rain to wash them away either. Here on Earth, a single raindrop is enough to erase an entire footprint. But the moon hasn't had a raindrop fall on it in billions of years. Another thing that helps footprints last on the moon is the lack of weather. On Earth, storms, hurricanes, and even simple rain and wind can all work to erase marks left on the ground. But without weather on the moon, any mark left on its surface is left alone. The only thing that can wear down footprints on the moon over time is micrometeorites. These are tiny space rocks smaller than a grain of sand that hurtle through space at incredible speeds. They constantly bombard the lunar surface. And although one micrometeorite isn't going to do much, their combined erosion over millions of years would eventually wear away a footprint. However, this is a very slow process. So the footprints left by astronauts during the Apollo missions, which took place between 1969 and 1972, are still perfectly visible today. In fact, the first person to walk on the moon, American astronaut Neil Armstrong, left a small footprint that is still there. It's actually a little more complicated than that. The first person to walk on the moon did leave a footprint, but it wasn't the first mark made by humans on the lunar surface. That honor belongs to Alan Bean, who was the fourth person to walk on the moon during the Apollo 12 mission. While taking a stroll on the moon's surface, he accidentally scuffed the lunar module with his spacesuit and left a mark on the moon that remains to this day. Back to Armstrong, though. Although he didn't leave the first human mark on the moon, he did make the first human footprint. He took a small step off the ladder of the lunar module and onto the surface of the moon. This left a small print in the dust, which was picked up by the camera and broadcast around the world. Armstrong's famous footprint is located near the lunar module in the Sea of Tranquility, and according to NASA, it's still there. The reason footprints can last so long on the moon is because of the material covering its surface. The top layer of the moon is covered with a fine powdery soil called regolith. The texture of this material is similar to flour, and when something makes an impression in it, the small particles shift and pack tightly together around the object, preserving the shape of whatever was there. And since nothing can really break down this material on the moon, the footprints are locked in time. Of course, this also works in reverse. The spacesuits worn by the Apollo astronauts were also made of materials that preserved the shape of anything that touched them. So while we can't see the shape of the astronauts themselves, they left their mark on the lunar surface just the same. Please like and subscribe.